Hi, everybody. I am Audra, and welcome to this week's session of Healing from the Inside Out. Today, I have Meryl with me, and she is a transformational coach. She's an EFT professional, an energy healer, and she even is a yoga instructor. But best of all, what I love is she's a best-selling author. So I love authors. So we're going to get into a little bit about what she does because she really wants to help people have a better relationship with themselves so they could really live with more joy and experience life on a more fulfilling level. So please help me welcome our guest today, Meryl. Hi, sweetie. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. Thanks for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. So most people want to know how we got started on this path.
hmm
Why? Because you do a lot of things, energy, EFT, and I know how they tie together and
Right.
how it just really amplifies someone's experience. So what got you interested in doing this?
Since my early 20s, just a few years ago, um, I've always been on my own self-development journey, wanting to feel better about myself and shut down my own, inner critic thoughts, worry thoughts, anxious thoughts, and things like that. And my first like entrance into the wellness industry was becoming a yoga teacher. And I realized that I could help people feel better in their bodies. But what I loved about the teachers who taught the classes that I took was that they were able to theme the yoga classes around self-development and self-love and feeling enough and that kind of thing. So I wanted to be able to do that. So I learned how to do that. And then I eventually closed, I had a nail salon for like 30 years is my other life, So I eventually closed that business to become a coach. And I researched energy healing because I was, really interested in the alternative healing modalities and spirituality and energy healing. So I just kept researching all different kinds of jobs. And I came across a mind body medicine practitioner and looked into what that would entail to become one. And I found that this woman who became my first coach actually was teaching an intro to mind body medicine course at the Kripalu Institute in Massachusetts. So I went there, I took the class, and she was doing some EFT tapping. So that's where I first learned about EFT. And honestly, I didn't really like it at, at first, but I knew that a year later, I wanted to work with her in a group online program. And I followed every little thing that she did. And she did a lot of inspiration, little video snippets with EFT tapping. So I just kept doing it and kept doing it. And then eventually I had my own aha moments with it and realized that it was a very profound healing therapy that really worked for me. And I decided to get certified in all the levels and, take a lot of continuing education classes in root cause resolution because I love to help people to transform their trauma and their pain and everything from their past into, just letting it go so that they can really be present in their life now and not have to really worry about their future. So, what does that even mean? Most of my clients come to me and they say, I just want inner peace, right? Because their mind is just so consumed with worry, anxiety, I'm not enough, second guessing, lots of second guessing themselves. So, indecision. And it can cause them to have sleepless nights, digestive problems, feel like their nervous system is dysregulated all the time, like they're in fight or flight mode. And, and that just looks like, they're always in their minds and they're not able to feel really grounded and calm in their bodies. So that's what I help them do is to unravel all the stuff that's going on in here and pull it apart, heal it, rewire it, and replace it and refresh it with new perspectives, positive perspectives, um, affirmations. encouragement, empowerment, right? So that they really can let go of their past. I know I said that before, but um, so that's really kind of like how I got to my journey. But I do want to back it up just a little bit and tell you that while I still had my salon and after I closed my salon, I had 5 years of 5 accidents in a row, all around the same time of the year. It's actually this time of the year. Like August, September is always a big transformative time of the year for me. I did my yoga teacher training at this time of the year back in 2012. And it just always seems to be like a big, like even just yesterday, I signed up for a speaker training and I applied to go to um, this retreat center to learn how to run retreats, like all just in this week. So it's a very transformative time of the year, probably not just for me, probably for a lot of people. But so the universe had a plan for me. You know, there's many plans. And I was someone who did not trust my gut. I didn't trust my intuition. I did sometimes because I always followed my intuition in my careers. But when it came to relationships, that's where I had conflict within myself. And I fell down my stairs and broke my sacrum 2016. Same time of the year in 2017, I fell and broke my wrist. Same time of the year in 2018, I tripped and fell in the mall and hurt my hands and my knee. In 2019, I fell and slid down my stairs and like hurt the side of my body. And then in 20, oh wait, I might be off a year because in 2021, that was when I slammed my thumb in the door, my car door, and slammed my thumb in the car door. And I realized that all these accidents, you know, was really the universe like forcing me to look within and see like, okay, obviously I need to make some kind of a change. And it really was the universe telling me to listen to my intuition and follow my heart. It's not just hear what my intuition was saying, but really follow it. And that I would be supported and that it would work out for my best interest if I did do that. And so after realizing all of these falls and what they meant, I haven't had any for a few years now, so I'm all good. And
I'm glad to hear that.
yeah, and I've recovered from them, so you know that's all fine. Um, but I remember when those accidents and things happened, um, I remember being so scared to follow my intuition because when it came to relationships and me not wanting to create conflict, I was constantly worried about, oh, I can't really say what I want to say because I want to keep the peace. And I, you know, am still proving myself and need, you know, external validation. And I don't want to disappoint people. And, you know, I don't want to make anybody mad. I don't want to look bad. Like all these things were, right, consuming my brain. And I realized that the universe was forcing me to look within and trust that I could do those things. I could say no. I could speak up and still be liked, right? And still be respected. And, you know, so that's what I want to share with the audience is that I've been through this and through my own healing and helping my clients, I realized that I liked a few different things that created my own emotional clearing method process that I use. So it is physical EFT tapping. There's an upgraded form of it called optimal EFT, and that's kind of like energy healing, like spiritual healing, similar to Reiki. I did do level 1 Reiki, and I'm scheduled to do level 2 September 29th. So that's amplified that piece already, like incredibly. And then through those two methods, there's also inner child healing, ancestral healing, surrogate healing, like distance healing, that all goes along with that. And then how to rewire your patterns is also using both, and then anchoring into your goal. Like everything that I do is very goal oriented and very detailed and very focused so that people can get to their goals much faster. And so that's using law of attraction. So helping people to get into the energy and the emotion and the envisioning of what they do want. Um, so the whole process of the emotional clearing method kind of works all together to give the best results. So that's kind of what I've uncovered and put together in my business.
I really I like it all. I think that there's a lot of people out there feeling like you felt at one time or another. I would love to see something like this in schools, like where we have different modalities where we're reaching people before they get to that
Yeah.
point. I was watching something on the news. Mike Mike Connolly, I think he was talking to teachers and counselors about the state of what's going on in high schools and how they really just don't have a trusted adult or so it's very easy for them because they have all that stuff going on. So I would love to see more modalities. I was just online with a yoga teacher. And I think that we need to be more open with this for the general public, not just adults, because well, a lot of what we're trying to heal happens when we're children,
Absolutely.
and because
I
it's
wish I had, I know. I wish I had it growing up. I really do.
because when we get to that point 20 or 30 years later, it's a lot harder to unwrap. And I
Mhm.
think there's more resistance in ourselves to even let it go.
Yeah.
It becomes like an old friend, a baggage that's well liked, right? So,
Well, it's like a comfort zone it's automatic, and then we need to rewire that automatic, unhealthy pattern to something that is healthy. And that does take time.
so tell me a little bit about the ancestral healing. What is that like? What is that about for the people that don't know?
Yeah. So it's also called generational trauma. So I'll give you an example that there was a scientific study done where POWs from the war, when they were captive, they obviously were going through incredible amounts of stress. And then when it, I don't know if they were married or not married, but then when they did have children, their children had the same PTSD that their fathers had.
Wow.
And that right there shows you that we are all connected energetically and that our stress and issues and everything can be carried down through our DNA from generation to generation to generation. So that's why they call it generational trauma. And in my world of healing, we believe that we can heal ancestral patterns. And so I can be a surrogate for my grandmother, for example. And I can feel into what I think maybe she experienced. I mean, she grew up in New York, but say, like, my father's father came from Russia at 9 years old by himself to like live with an aunt in New York. So, how stressful was that, right? So, I could go into what I think he experienced and tap on that. Like even though I was so scared, to get on a boat or whatever to go to Ellis Island. And I was all by myself and I felt alone. And, you can do that and help him heal generational trauma through my aunts, through him to me, because some of that is in me.
So how does that work? Like if someone doesn't know if they have ancestral trauma? I mean, we all have it to a degree because we all come from our past, right? But how would you know if someone was experiencing ancestral or
Yeah,
generational trauma? How do you know?
it's yeah, it's a great question. It's usually when they've done like all the healing and all the talking about all their stuff from their past, and there just doesn't seem to be anything else from their own lifetime. And they still are having patterns that they are having trouble like unraveling and rewiring. So it can be something that was passed down to them. It could even be like someone's parents were going through a divorce while they were pregnant with them. And that stress, they were born into that stressful environment. It could be something like that.
Wow.
And they could always feel like they didn't belong or something, if the pregnancy was something that the parents really didn't want, or like they had to go through because they wouldn't abort, or something like that. I'm just coming up with an example, but
So what would be indicators for the person that they're experiencing it? Like, let's use me as an example. How would I know if I had ancestral trauma? True story. And I tell you this because you're just gonna, and so many people have told me the same thing. Um, when we were little, my mother went to a fortune teller, right? And she said that she told the woman that three of her four children were with her before in a past life, right? So we had one that we were sure wasn't with us. She was just that mean sister that we knew you can't be part of us, right? But she went on and she told my mother that there was a curse put on her family and that things that were meant for her children, they, unless the curse was broke, that she wouldn't have them, that someone was jealous of my mother and gave her what they call the evil eye in Italian, like the Moloch. But
like
yeah,
mhm.
but looked past her at the child, which was me. So that the child was cursed. So I have so many crazy people reaching out to me all the time about that, telling me they're sent by my ancestors. And I'm like, okay, we're here to help. Your ancestors have a message for you. And they always tell me that what was meant for me was given to somebody else. And they go back into that story. And I just thought it was odd that it's the same story, they say, but different people, like years apart with the same story. And I said, what are the chances that someone would come up with that same story? So I have this ritual cleansing that I do of my own. But I just thought that was odd. So what if there's something like that were actually true? How would I know? Because clearly they're saying I would never become what I was meant to be. And I think I'm exactly who I need to be, right?
Maybe
So
there isn't really a curse, or
I
maybe
mean,
you're the
but
person.
like if something like, would I be able to know, would I not be
I
as
just think it's
diligent in one area or?
it's if there is an area in your life where you feel like you just are stuck and you can't get through, or move on from, and you've done every possible thing, to heal and clear and whatever of the stuff that you know of, then it could be something that is from your parents or their parents or something generational. But if you feel like I
Like they're
have a
quacks. I
fulfilling
feel
life,
like they're quacks that are just
well,
targeting me.
I feel like for you, like you have a fulfilling life and there isn't really any reason to go back and do any work like that, then I wouldn't worry about it. I wouldn't look for something if there wasn't a reason to look for something. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
You know? And
It
I
makes
mean,
perfect sense.
yeah, if you feel, I feel like maybe you were the one that broke through all of these patterns and moved past it. And maybe you're the one in your family that is the change maker, the pattern breaker. Does that make sense?
It does. I was I'm the first of many things in my family.
Right. See, that's what I think it all is. So maybe, you were born into it for a reason, so maybe you did have what they say you had, but you were the one that ended it, ended the chain, ended the pattern.
I'm gonna believe that because I like that. I
So I
like
would
that. So what do you find that people benefit the most from? The EFT, the combination of the EFT and the Reiki type thing that you were talking about? Or do you think that all of the modalities really complement each other and make it a better, quicker experience?
I think they all complement. That's why I created my emotional clearing method, because it's uncovering where you're at, it's creating a goal, and it's staying very focused to that goal, session after session, moment after moment. It's like, what's keeping me from that goal? And then we're removing whatever is in your way to your goal, using EFT tapping, using the meditative part, using Reiki, because a lot of our, as they say, issues are stored in our tissues. So stuff from our past is stored in our body, and it could be wreaking havoc on our digestion. It could be our chronic tension in our shoulders. It could be our chronic migraines. It could be the pain in your left toe that you have all the time. And it's just our emotions can create physical disorders, symptoms, illness, and all of that,
Absolutely.
right? So I also incorporate in my work, it's not just I have all this fear, it's I can feel the constriction in my chest as I'm talking about this subject. So this constricted fear in my chest, and we'll tap on that. And then we use the tapping to get very clear and focused about what we're working on. And then it helps to bring the numbers down, because we rate everything on a number scale from 0 to 10. So if the numbers are really high, I want them to come down, maybe by half, and then we'll go into the meditation part, where that's more of a, energy healing. And I'll do, if the person is virtual, I'll do distance healing. If they're here in person, I'm not usually sitting next to them. I'm also doing distance as well. Although I do hands-on Reiki, if somebody wants that, but excuse me. And that is helping them to clear out the physical symptoms that go along with the nervous system stress responses that are connected to the emotional trauma that people are holding on to.
What about if someone was having trouble with spirituality or felt emotionally detached? Would something like this work for them?
Yes. I've worked with people who have been in that place, and I meet my clients exactly where they are at with everything. This isn't like someone comes to me and says, "Oh, I know I have all this trauma from my past that I need to heal." I say, "Well, tell me what's going currently now in your life and how you feel about even doing this work." And sometimes people say, "Oh, I don't know, I feel kind of uncomfortable. I'm afraid to get too emotional, or I cry easily, or something like that." I say, "Well, we don't have to go anywhere you don't want to go, right? I'm your guide." And we use the EFT tapping and the meditation part as the tools to help you to feel calmer as we're processing difficult feelings and situations. And when you're tapping on the Chinese energy meridian points, you're tapping right into your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your automatic relaxation response center. So it's helping you to feel calmer also as you're processing difficult situations. And we go like thought by thought or sentence by sentence sometimes, especially when we're healing trauma. it is moment by moment. Let's just pick that moment and tap that down. And okay, we're going to go to the next moment and we're going to tap that down. And I only go to the places where my customer, my clients feel comfortable to go, and they are very surprised. Clients are usually very, very surprised that they were able to get to, past trauma faster than they thought, and that they were able to actually talk about it or process it and like get through it, okay, and survive. And, it's never as bad as somebody thinks that it is. Because it's handled in such a way where as soon as someone gets really emotional, we pause. All right, let's collect ourselves. We do some tapping, maybe just tapping and breathing, or I have them place their hands on their heart and just take some breaths. And we, get to a calmer place, and then we may continue if they want. And it's just this winding path that we keep, following and collaborating on together. So, did I answer your question or go off on a tangent?
No, you did. You answered was, but I think that a lot of people really I have a friend that does EFT. And we did it online. She did it in one of my groups one day. And I was just I had a hard time with it because I have like I don't know if it's a problem. I used to have Raynaud's, so I wouldn't feel my fingers. So just to sit there and keep tapping like it kind of did something to me. I don't know. It was uncomfortable for me. Um
Okay.
but
Well,
as we did it, I kind of got used to it because we were sitting there for like 15 minutes on the same part of the body. So and I was like, okay, enough already. So
hmm. Yeah, I don't usually stay that long. I mean, unless somebody's just talking, I
well,
might
she
have them.
was doing this and stuff,
Yeah.
but
So it's really about the intention of the point. So you can just press, because sometimes people come to me and they have extreme anxiety and the tapping makes them feel worse. So I just have them press on the point and press on the point and press. It does not have to actually be tapping. And I will tell you that a few years ago, I had COVID and felt so terrible. I was like, I'm going to call someone and have a tapping session with them and see if it'll help clear some of this stuff and move some of this stuff out. My back was killing me and, from some like aches and pains and stuff. And I did an online session with someone and I said, I'm not tapping. I laid on my couch, with the computer on the pillow in front of me, and I, watched what she was doing and she tapped for me. And then after about 20 minutes, I was like, actually, I think I could sit up. And then all of a sudden, I'm tapping along with her because I was feeling a lot better. And that session totally helped me feel so much better, so much faster. And it just goes to show like it's really the intention that we're all connected energetically.
oh, I believe that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
I really do. I am so believe that. So if you could tell people one thing that you think would inspire them to maybe give this a try, what would that be?
Um, to inspire them to give this a try. Well, um, this is the thought that's coming in, so I'm going to share. I love and have used Reiki. I mean, I'm a Reiki practitioner, but I mean by itself, like Reiki by itself, sound healing, yoga. I'm a yoga teacher, yoga, talk therapy, like all those things are great, but they tend to be very surface level and general. So if you are really wanting to get to the root cause and be able to use those things for more fun and maybe just lighter clearing and really get results, then that's my program. That's the difference, you know, with it. And again, it's really if you feel resistant to it, that's where we will start. Even though I feel all this resistance, I'm choosing to honor how I feel, right? And talk through that, and that will shift because I've done that with my clients before,
I'd like to
you know.
try that. I'd like to try that because I've always been a little resistant to the tapping, and I don't know why, to be honest. So that would be a good place for me to start. I just And I believe in the pressure points and all that stuff. I love it, and I'm very open to giving things a try. I love reflexology, all those things. Mary Morrissey and Sandy Forrester, they do, but the pressing on the pressure points and stuff like that, and I didn't find that bothersome at all. It was just the whole idea of sitting and you know.
Right.
So, yeah, so I'm going to revisit this myself because my girlfriend absolutely loves it and she swears by it. So,
Mhm.
and I know a lot of people that do. So I think I owe it to myself to try something, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, as you
Like
get
I,
older,
yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm more open to try things that I didn't before. Um,
Yeah.
I was online with a yoga teacher a little while ago, and she was telling me, I was sharing a story about a yoga experience I had, and she said, "Well, when you're doing your regular yoga schedule," I said, "Oh, I don't have a regular yoga schedule." I said, "I believe in trying everything." I said, "But certain things I have more difficulty with sticking with, like." I'll do yoga or something to break things up, my normal routines. I won't stick with any routine because when I do, I find that I get lazy in that routine. It gets cumbersome and redundant. So I'm always switching things up. That just works for me.
Yeah. Well, just to, go back to you not loving the tapping part, then you would probably love the optimal EFT part, which is the upgraded form of it. And it's just like a, guided meditation and it's energy healing. So you don't need to do any tapping.
Yeah. I love that stuff. I'm experimenting with all these different things because I'm meeting the most interesting people online that are all using these different modalities. And I am really enjoying the fact that health is not just so black and white anymore. Yeah, I had a conversation, God, it must be a year ago, about someone who was in traditional medicine like myself. And, um, you go to the doctor and he says, do this, and people just did it, and they never questioned, is there a better way and there's so many other avenues that are now being used and doctors are encouraging people to try these other modalities. So I'm glad that there's that expansion happening and people are more open to trying different things because health doesn't come in any one shape or form. It's different for everybody, right? So and if something helps you release your trauma or rid your body of pain, then I'm all for it.
Me too. Hallelujah.
So if somebody wanted to find you or work with you, how would they do that?
Everything is under my name. My email is merylhayton@gmail.com. My website is Meryl Hayton. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, everything is under my name. I have a YouTube channel under my name. And if you are interested in a little bit more, I have a lot of free content on YouTube. Plus, if you go to my website and you subscribe, I only send out about 2 emails a month, and there's always an inspirational tapping video in those emails. And you get a 7-day tapping series when you first sign up. So there's a lot of free stuff that you get. If you're interested in one-to-one work, I have a 1 month program or a 3 month program, and you'll just have to get in touch with me and we'll set up a free consultation so that I can make sure I can help you and that we're a good match. And you'll definitely get some good advice in those calls. And I'm not sure, when do you publish this?
It goes to the editor and then it goes to publishing. It gets the intro and the outro put on it. So within a couple of days.
Yeah, okay. So September 29th, I'm doing an online program of my emotional clearing method on Zoom. Otherwise, if you're in New Jersey, I do offer that program all over New Jersey, like Morris County, Monmouth County, Ocean County, um, And I have done it at some retreat centers, like I did my program I did at Kripalu in Massachusetts. So, and I'm going to be expanding and doing more retreats and things like that. So that's how you can continue to work with me, you know.
I love the retreat idea. I was actually away with friends and we were looking at great sites for retreats. We
Oh,
found some, we found some local, everybody thinks you have to go to the Bahamas to unwind or, Jamaica, some foreign lands, but it's really about that experience and being with people that are working on the same thing. So we found a place that it's funny because when we were away, we did a video because we do a show together about energy and how different our energy was there because we were relaxed in a calm environment. Mind you,
right.
we're still working and doing regular business, even though we weren't supposed to be, but it was just such a better place to be
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah. I know. We're always different whenever we leave our home,
Yeah.
or our business, it's just, there's just something we just disconnect from all the same energy that is here, you know.
Sometimes that's a good thing. It's good
I
to.
think it's a very good thing. I think it's very healthy.
Yeah. So I really enjoyed learning about this. I'm going to look into your program because I know that I work with a lot of people that are open to trying different modalities. And um, a lot of people that are dealing with weight loss issues or digestive issues do have trauma. And a lot of them, they